Go, Jerry.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Truth, Freedom, Health Rally. My name is Jerry Payne, and I don't care if they know who I am behind me. We are going to have a lot of great speakers here today. We have speakers who are workers, because our movement about workers uniting. We have myself, I drive a truck. We have a welder. We have teachers. We have a medical doctor. We have educators. And we are going to speak today about our movement, truth, freedom, and health, and how we come together. The powers that be control these guys behind us. I learned that working for Dr.SHIVA's campaign. It doesn't matter. Elections are selections. Elections are selections, and they are controlled by the corporations. Pfizer makes $65,000 a minute. $65,000 a minute. $1,000 a second. Folks, they make $65,000 since we've been standing here today. I mean, talking right now. And we need to fight the real people down the street, the real people who control the politicians. And we're going to talk about that. The politicians like Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I'm from Texas. I voted for Donald Trump. I worked for his campaign. What do we find out? Donald Trump is what's called the not so obvious establishment. Why do we say that? We've got to let go of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was on Epstein's plane. He rode around on Epstein's plane. He said, lock her up, lock her up. He never locked up Hillary. He said, build the wall, build the wall. The wall was never built. He said that we need to take this vaccine, but we're not going to mandate it. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm from Texas. We have a saying down there. Piss on my back and tell me it's raining. Well, it's raining right now, and I feel the politicians are pissing all over our back right now, guys. The other one we need to talk about is Robert Kennedy. We need to talk about Kennedy. He had a party at his house in December, and everybody had to be vaccinated, and yet he's supposedly anti-vaccine, but he required everybody to be vaccinated. He endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times. He endorsed her for the Senate. He is what is called not so obvious establishment. They take movements like that start to rise up, and then they direct them and bring them back to the beginning. So that's what we're going to talk to you about today, guys. We're going to talk to you about our movement, truth, freedom, and health, and the not so obvious establishment. So my next speaker is Heather. Heather, where are you today? Heather is a teacher. Come on up, Heather. Let's give her a big hand. If you'd like to speak, come on up and we will get you to speak.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm Heather. I came here to the belly of the beast from Oregon. I am a wife, I'm a mom, and I used to be a teacher. Now I'm a homeschooling mom. Gotta tell you, March of 2020, I saw a video of Dr.SHIVA. He was talking about building immunity. Made a heck of a lot of sense. Well, watching everything that's going on. That was something that empowered our family. It gave us control of our household. And like Jerry was saying about the not so obvious establishment, it really opened my eyes. He talked about election integrity and showed us that if you're asking for data from your county election clerk or your city election clerk here in Massachusetts, and the participating voters and the ballots cast don't match, isn't there a problem? So I requested data from the 36 counties in Oregon. Some of them didn't cough it up. They sent me to the Secretary of State. Why would there be more ballots cast than participating voters? That really made me question some things. And I paid a lot of attention. And I connected with people in this group, in the Truth, Freedom, Health organization. And these people know what's going on. Trump, he got $600 million in donations to fight election integrity. What happened to it? He doesn't know.
What happened to it?
Where is it? Where'd it go?
Golf courses.
Yeah, golf courses. Improvements to Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. He was on Epstein's plane. signed CISA, extended the Patriot Act. RFK Jr. Well, let's think. That Kennedy legacy is such a beautiful thing. 1962, Vaccine Act. Then 1986, again, vaccine indemnification. You gotta be kidding me. You mean you get a jab and that vaccine company, that pharmaceutical company doesn't have to pay out your family member can be injured or die? This makes no sense. He was on Epstein's plane too. So everybody, get your head out of the clouds. These people aren't looking out for you. You got to stop looking left, stop looking right. Inside you, that's where the solution is. Join Truth, Freedom, Health. Join the movement. We need a bottoms-up movement. Let's make it happen. And next up, Jerry.
Thank you, Heather. Let's give a round of applause to Heather. You know, they've caused us to do stuff like this. They've caused us to homeschool our own kids because they're taking them and they're indoctrinating them. And now they can't even go to school. What do I pay taxes for, by the way? I don't know. I pay $1,400 a month. I mean, every 3 months on taxes. I mean, what am I paying for? So we got another speaker coming up. Jason. Jason is a welder. He's in Maine. He lost his job, and he's going to tell you about it because of the stupid things that they're doing to us right now.
Thank you, Jerry. Hey, my name's Jason. Like Jerry said, I traveled up from Maine. Not really good at speaking in public, so let me get my notes here.
Take your time.
Okay. Whoop. Thank you. So I am a welder. I've done roofing. I ran a landscaping company. Bottom line, I worked with my hands all my life. Like probably most of you, I have a job. I lost my job because I refused to tell them my Jabination status. You know, I said, I don't like that. You can't ask me if I'm a drug addict. You can't ask me if I'm this or that, but all of a sudden you can ask me my vaccination status. That didn't make any sense to me. And I got fired because of it. So I want to talk about, and I'm not the only one. There's other people in my movement. I'm sure you know people who just, you know, either got fired or quit because they didn't want to put up with it, you know. So I want to talk about the not so obvious establishment today. Most of you hopefully know who that is. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, think about Bernie Sanders. You know, he twice, right? He did it with Hillary. I'm better than Hillary. Then he turned around and gave all his votes to Hillary. Did the same thing with Biden, right? You know, just vote for the lesser of two evils. In his eyes, that was Joe Biden. RFK Jr. is pro-vaccine. If you don't believe me, you can hear it from his own mouth. He endorsed Hillary Clinton, the vaccine queen. She also supports Monsanto. He endorsed his nephew, who is also a big, you know, vaccination. You can't go to his house. You can't go to a dinner party without the vaccination. So these guys are saying one thing, but they're actually enforcing vaccine mandates in their own home. You know, Trump signed CISA. I voted for Trump. I like Trump, but we got to look at what he did, not what he says. I don't know about you. Do you like censorship?
Whoa.
I don't like censorship. Trump signed CISA. You know, what's he doing for us? So no one has done what Trump has done for Big Pharma. I mean, have you guys been paying attention the last year? Big Pharma is making all kinds of money. Trump gave them zero liability. This vaccine is what they needed, and he fast-tracked it, you know. We got to stop making excuses for them. That's really the point I want you guys to get. And you might be saying, well, who do we vote for? What do we do? You know, Trump's better than Biden. I guess you got me there. Trump's better than Biden. But you know who I trust? I trust Heather. I trust Jerry. We got to start looking toward each other. We can't, these elites are not going to help us. That is, if you take anything away from this today, please take that, because we have to start moving in the right direction. And you're going to get fooled again. That's what Dr.SHIVA is doing for me. I'm not going to get fooled again because Dr.SHIVA is educating me. And you can do the same thing if you choose to. We got to stop making excuses for them. Stop thinking someone else is going to do it who's going to win back our freedom? We're going to win back our freedom. That's who. Yep. The not so obvious establishment is the real enemy, and Big Pharma is the real enemy because, like Jerry said, they run the politicians. So they're the boss. You know, we have to get wise to this, and we got to go from there. Big Pharma is the real boss. In 2010, Big Pharma made $16 billion. In 2020, they made $41 billion. That's just Pfizer. Excuse me, not Big Pharma. In the third quarter alone, in 2021, they made $25 billion. So it's truth, freedom, and health. It's about working people unite. We don't have to unite everybody. We got to unite people like us who work for a living. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to battle Big Pharma. We're going to battle Moderna, Pfizer. Right down here, we're going to meet tomorrow, 12 noon. We're going to meet, what's the...
Kendall Square.
No, not Kendall Square. We are going to meet in Kendall Square, and we're going to march against these guys. These guys that have made, since I've been standing here, they probably made $1 million since I've been standing here. That's the thing just keeps clicking. That's all it's about, guys. It's about them making money. They don't care about us. These guys back here don't give a shit about us. They don't. They just want to enslave us. And only people like Dr.SHIVA, who is not, you can't compromise this guy. I've been working for this guy for a year. He cannot be bought. All these other politicians are bought. And I'm tired of it. We've got to stop. We've got to stop. And we've got a guy right here, right now, who's going to tell you about Kennedy. Come on up here, Ken.
What?
Dr. Robin, would you like to speak in the interim?
Shiva saying I can go.
Okay. Mr. Medlar is going to go.
Robin, Shiva, Robin or me? Robin or me? All right, sorry.
Dr. Robin, come on.
All right, Robin.
Let Robin go and read.
This is Dr. Robin Frost, by the way, guys. She came all the way from Maine.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Jerry. It's nice to see you all here in the rain.
Dr. Shiva wants to remind you to read the document.
You want to say what?
Read the document.
Which one?
The poster. Never mind. Just do your thing. Yep.
Sorry about that, guys. My name is Dr. Robin Frost. I live in Maine, and I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be here, and even in the rain with all of you people. Does anybody know the definition of insanity? Yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. What are we doing? We're doing the same thing, but Truth, Freedom, and Health movement is not. We are looking at, I've been involved in this movement since the beginning. And the reason that is because it makes the most sense. We are being educated. We have an understanding that we know that in order to get to the truth, we have to have our freedoms. If we can't move around, we can't have open discourse, how are we ever going to gain the truth? How are we ever going to get there? Without the truth, we don't have our health. So the Truth, Freedom, and Health movement is educating us, working people coming together. I'm not just talking about electricians and plumbers and doctors and nurses. And I'm not just talking, I'm talking about full-time moms and stay-at-home dads and retired people and military people. These are the working people. And I'm telling you right now, guys, that we look at how the mandates are coming down, and that one size fits all medicine does not apply. We have to look at the fact that this cannot work. This is not what we stand for, an ability to take care of our own health, and it's not okay. The other thing that we need to look at is the only thing, and the one thing that this movement is, Truth, Freedom, and Health movement recognizes, is that working people have to unite. What is happening is we are being so distracted by the not so obvious establishment, to include Trump, with what was already told to you. And also another example would be Kennedy. He's supposed to be anti-vax, but what has he really done? How many vaccines have they added to our kids' vaccine schedule? Has he changed that? He has not changed that at all. So my suggestion is to become educated through the Truth, Freedom, and Health movement. The only thing that's worked in history is a bottoms-up movement. The people. And I'm going to read a few things in regards to our not so obvious establishment that maybe you didn't have any idea that was going on. So this is a real Robert Kennedy Jr. Robbie refuses to attend rallies and protests unless flown in first class to an entourage. Flew on Jeffrey Epstein's Toyota Express. Epstein is a child trafficker. He's a pedophile. He's an abuser. Why is he traveling with him? He kills authentic bottoms-up movements to mislead people back into the arms of the establishment. He takes your money. He takes your time. Empathetically, he is pro-vaccine. It comes right out of his own mouth. He wants policies encouraging full vaccination of all Americans. RFKexposed.com will tell you that. The not-so-obvious establishment. He exists to distract working people into dead-end lawsuits and legislators. Non-vaccinated friends are not allowed to attend his party at his very own home. Recently in December, can you imagine being an anti-vaxxer and telling everybody they had to be vaccinated? He endorsed Hillary Clinton. She is 3 times, and she is so pro-vax and so mandated pro-vax. So why are we following a gentleman, an elite that states these things and takes your time and takes your money? Delivered 0 wins for medical freedom movements, begs for money, though he has billions in trust. How are we trusting these people? The only people that we need to trust is you need to look right beside who's standing next to you. Your friends, your community, your family, the working people. That is who we need to unite, come together, and tell these people it's not okay.
Senator Farrakhan has asked me to address the issue of vaccines and African American and vaccine safety. I want to start out by saying this, and I want to say it emphatically. I'm pro-vaccine, 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 I'm pro-vaccine,
Robert Kennedy! This is Robert Kennedy, guys!
And I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans.
What the fuck?
That's not what I want.
Woo! That's Mr. Kennedy. The guy holding the torch here is Mr. Medlar. Mr. Medlar is going to come up and speak right now. I'll hold it for you, John.
MC.
Hey Robin, I actually need my phone back for this. Okay, so you'll have to switch to one of
I learned carpentry. I come from a working class family. My father spent decades working 3 jobs simultaneously to claw our way into a middle class neighborhood, while my dear mother raised both my big sister and I as a hardworking housewife. I've been an activist since high school. I started organizing free speech rallies, and I was demonized by the media and Marty Walsh because that's what they do.
Fuck Marty Walsh.
Fuck Marty Walsh.
One of the people who stood by me at that time was Dr.SHIVA. He taught me how to lead, how to organize, and really what a bottoms-up movement actually is. But I was also quite naive at the time, even then, and so I was still helping out every other patriot group here in Boston because I couldn't. I just wanted to help people. But because I was in the inner circles of all of these groups, I gained a unique perspective. Here I saw Dr.SHIVA on the one hand, boldly and uncompromisingly, building a movement on the ground, not relying on bigger names to platform us or bankroll us, actually organizing for revolution. And on the other hand, I saw a lot of these other clowns. I was in their meetings and I was frustrated as hell with them for holding rallies just for the sake of more rallies, giving people false hope with lawsuits that never went anywhere, shilling for career politicians and mass GOP insiders. Let me be very clear. The politicians do not care about you. They do not care how much we stand around waving flags. Them and their paymasters, their celebrity friends, want you dead or enslaved, even the Republicans. Some of them put on a show and tell you exactly what you want to hear. Rand Paul, now he talks about firing Fauci 2 years after we delivered 150,000 signatures to the White House. And Trump, who I supported fiercely, did nothing to Fauci.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck Fauci.
Trump did nothing to big tech. He signed CISA into law. He established the same censorship infrastructure that threw him off Twitter later. And threw off Dr.SHIVA, by the way. I watched this RFK guy parachute into New Jersey in 2019 as Dr.SHIVA was organizing militant protests against the forced vaccination bill down there. And initially, Shiva tried to be very friendly with him. And then Bobby Kennedy stabbed us in the back and tried to cut deals with the politicians and told people, don't protest too much because the politicians won't like it. And we stood firm. We scared the shit out of the state legislature in New Jersey. We got that bill tabled even as Bobby ran away once he got his kickbacks. So if you want to know where the beef comes from, that's where it comes from, by the way.
Let's play it again.
I am done trying to please everyone. There's only one way to get our country back, and that's to stop wasting time with soft, squishy, unoriginal misleaders who steal other people's rhetoric but waste people's time. We do not have time to waste on more lawsuits. We do not have time to waste on bills or elections. The only purpose of running for office at this point is a vehicle to build a revolutionary movement on the ground. The only point of protesting at this point is to build a revolutionary movement on the ground. The only point of lawsuits at this point is to bring out the evidence to expose the elites that we're going to overthrow.
Truth, freedom, health. Truth, freedom, health.
And we do that. We overthrow these tyrants with walkouts, with labor strikes. We are going to overthrow, we are going to organize the workers and bring these tyrants to their knees.
Any business that enforces these mandates needs to get shut down. Any department that follows these orders needs to get shut down. And the Truth, Freedom, Health movement is going to be the tip of that spear. We are going to organize working people for a revolution, whether the misleaders like it or not. And now, after all this, now Trump invites us down to Mar-a-Lago twice. Everything we've built, he never helped us. Shiva taught us how to organize and lead. We are going to teach you how to organize and lead a movement so you can organize your friends and neighbors and your co-workers. That is how we build a revolution. Bottoms up, neighbor to neighbor, not relying on any outside influencers. Get with your friends, get with your families, meet in your homes. We've built the infrastructure for you to use, but don't even wait for us. Start organizing now and do not compromise. Truth, freedom, health. 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 Hey, John, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, don't hold back.
Mr. Farrakhan has asked me to address the issue of vaccines and African American, of vaccine safety. I want to start out by saying this, and I want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I've always been fiercely pro-vaccine, I'm all 6 of my children vaccinated, all 6 of my children vaccinated.
We took these samples and put them all in there. Politicians, they go like this to the wind.
I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans.
And it's both sides. So it's not, left and right, it's all the same bullshit. All the same bullshit. Right. So we're not going to fall for anything.
I now give you Dr.SHIVA. All right. Well, listen, people, come in closer. You guys want to come over closer? Yes, there's no 6-foot distance rule anymore. All right? Come on in, everyone. We have more people coming, more speakers. But as Jerry and John said, come on in, everyone. Come on in closer. Meet your neighbors. We need to build community. We need to come together to this best moves. But we need to build a bottoms-up movement. And I have many questions that I want to ask each one of you before I share with you my thoughts. The first question is, are you ready to fight for you? Are you ready to fight for you? Are you ready to fight for you? There are misleaders in this movement for the last 3 years who have been doing negotiations with the scumbags over there and have been misleading this movement repeatedly. And you know who I'm talking about. These people have taken our spirit, they've taken our power, and they've given it to scumbags. And that is a technical term. And if people have a problem with that, you can look up what it really means. But we're here today because in 2019, if you go look at the history, this movement called out the need to build the immune system. I gave a series of lectures educating all of you. This is about building immunity. Number one, this movement in March of 2020, we ran the Fire Fauci campaign. I didn't see Robert Malone there. I didn't see Robert Kennedy there. I didn't see Trump there. It was this movement. Had we organized in March of 2020, we wouldn't be in this freaking situation today. But the misleaders in this movement, watch which way the wind blows.
And then they come in a year later. Rand Paul being an example. Today he's running a Fire Fauci campaign. Cha-ching, 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 asking you for donations. Robert Kennedy's book is plagiarized from all of our work, and he makes money. Robert Kennedy endorsed Hillary Clinton not once, not twice, but 3 freaking times. Have you heard enough about this? Yet, the people over there keep pushing this freaking guy Kennedy. Why do you expect a billionaire to deliver you freedom? Is that possible? I don't think so. Trump just 2 weeks ago on Fox News said you must embrace the vaccines. You see, Biden hits you with a stick and Trump gives you the carrot. You see how the establishment works? The carrot and the stick. It is only the working people of this country or the world that can ever defeat the establishment. And history shows that. Go look back at the 1800s and the 1900s. It was a working woman of Lowell, Massachusetts. It was a working woman of this country which organized bottoms-up movements. Nothing was ever given to us. And when those movements grew, powerful, roaring movements that scared the shit out of the establishment, what did the establishment do? Go read history, because by the 1900s, we started getting sanitation, hygiene, elimination of child labor. Those weren't given to us by the Kennedys or the Rockefellers or the left or the right. It came from people putting the fear of God into people in power. And in return for that, we started getting public health. Long before the measles vaccine came in 1963, by 1948, 98% of measles mortality was wiped out. That was from infrastructure. You guys saw what I'm saying? It was those bottoms-up movements of men and women. And by the 1950s, the right wing branded those movements. Anytime you said workers unite, they called those movements communists. So they created the anti-communist rhetoric. And the left wing took over those movements, and they created top-down, bottoms-up unions controlled by the Democrats. During 1900 to 1970, there were 100 million people who struck in over 11,000 strikes, working people. It was the American working class putting the fear of God into these fuckers behind us. That is how we got public health. And today, starting in 1970 to today, both the left wing and the right wing crushed the workers' movements of this country. So we only had about 900 strikes and 2 million workers. Our movement, Truth, Freedom, and Health, wants to rebuild the working class movement of this country, because it is only when working people unite. And we're not here for some fake unity. Some people don't want us to expose Robert Kennedy or Trump. I gave him a lot of money. I'm sure a lot of you guys did. Frank is going to speak. We put up 10,000 signs for Trump. We've all been betrayed by the left and the right. We need to build a movement bottoms up. There can be no compromise. Do not follow these organizations to say, well, Bobby's a nice guy. You know, he did this and that. Fuck Bobby Kennedy. Fuck Donald Trump. It is only the bottoms-up movement that has ever built anything. Look to your shoulders, to your nearby neighbors. It is the movement of working people. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Those 4 phrases are powerful phrases. And if you can really absorb those phrases and start having dignity for yourselves and recognize that we need to build a bottoms-up movement, nothing is going to come from lawsuits because judges are paid and bought for. Nothing is going to come from elections because elections are selections. It is only going to come when we organize militant, bottoms-up movements and put the fear of God not into these people, but across the street. What do I mean by that? Across the river. We should stop protesting in these places ever again. The real enemy is in Kendall Square. Moderna and Pfizer are making $65,000 per minute, $1,000 per second. The misleaders in our movement keep having us beg to some stupid mayor and some stupid governors. They're all puppets, guys. Nubar Afan, head of Flagship Ventures, Bob Langer, a former advisor of mine, they have made $7-8 billion. The enemy is not here. The enemy is in Kendall Square. Let me repeat that again. The enemy of working people are not these prostitutes behind us. That's what they are. Don't go begging to prostitutes. As Malcolm X would say, these are the house slaves. We're the field slaves. Why are the field slaves begging to the house slaves? Let's go to the master who's across the river. That's where the master is. Tomorrow, we're going to have a massive protest right in Kendall Square. We're going to march right into Pfizer and the Moderna's offices. Working people work there, bottle washers, custodians. We need to organize those people to strike. We need to shut these guys down. And it's not going to happen through passing bills. It's not going to happen through giving your donations to Children's Health Defense Fund, run by Robert Kennedy, who was on Lolita Express with a child trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. That is why we're in this condition today. We're in a condition where working people's wages since 1970 have been cut by half, why Jeff Bezos and all these billionaires, 600 billionaires, double their wealth by $2.3 trillion. Start looking at the dollars. Stop following misleaders. We cannot afford to do it anymore. You have to look to a truck driver, an electrician, a welder, an engineer, a scientist, a healthcare worker. Why do you follow billionaires? Why? Because the brainwashing that takes place by mainstream media to make you think the Kardashians and the Kennedys and the celebrities are better than you. We have to do some soul searching in our own brains. Why do we let ourselves be abused? It's like a woman who gets beaten up. Oh, but he brought me flowers one day. Oh, Robert Kennedy said some nice stuff. Trump did a few things. We can't be beggars anymore. We have to lift ourselves up, and we have to start fighting on principles. And it's truth, freedom, and health. Without freedom, we cannot get to truth. Without freedom, we cannot get to truth. And it is the censorship infrastructure in this country that our lawsuit exposed. We do not have the First Amendment anymore. It is gone. The unholy alliance of government and big tech that our lawsuit exposed, the judge got so afraid of my lawsuit, he sealed the lawsuit, even after he won many wins. Let me repeat that again. A federal judge censored a lawsuit, a free speech lawsuit. Can you get that? And then when you stop freedom of speech, you no longer have science. And I know this. I got every degree at MIT. We don't have science anymore. We don't have science anymore in this country. The science ain't settled. The truth is the immune system is a very complex system. Because of its complexity, one size does not fit all. What's right for you may not be right for you. So here in Massachusetts, we talk about inclusivity and diversity, yet we don't want to talk about the diversity of the immune system and the biological diversity. To tell everyone they should get the exact same vaccine or the exact same medicine, that's anti-science. So we need to go down to the biological aspects of this. We can't be paying these stupid freaking lawyers, stupid lawsuits, lose, 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 lose. 99% of lawyers are dumb. Sorry, they are. Most of them are. It is time that all of us learn how to fight and we build a bottoms-up movement. And it's great to see the police and the first responders and working people and truckers and other people rising up. This is what needs to be done. And that's why we're at a historic opportunity that has never occurred before, because a movement like Truth, Freedom, and Health has not existed. Typically, you have the establishment and the not-so-obvious establishment. And I know this from a country that I came from called India. When working people rising up, bottoms up in India, wanted to kick out the British, they found this fool who got made to be a great guy called Gandhi. Gandhi was a not-so-obvious establishment. He was a racist. He thought black people were savages. He was an elitist. He was a pedophile. He was all sorts of things. But the establishment put a beautiful white robe on him, spectacles, a spinning wheel. They changed his name from Mohandas K. Gandhi to Mahatma, which means great one, Jesus Christ. This is how powerful the establishment is. They create your heroes, top down. RFK Jr. Okay? Endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times. Writes a book against Fauci. Plagiarized from our stuff. They create top-down leaders. Donald J. Trump. Lock her up. Did he lock her up? It's time that we working people get smart and we let go of these not so obvious establishment leaders. And that is when we have a real movement. The anti-war movement in this country exploded when the young people broke from the Democrats and the Republicans. Until then, the Vietnam War continued. It is when we break from the Republicans and the Democrats, the Trumps and the RFKs, and you go among yourselves and you build the bottoms-up movement, that is when we will win. Otherwise, this vaccine mandate bullshit is going to get worse and worse and worse. So anytime someone comes and tells you, well, Bobby did this, Bobby did that, Trump did this, he did this, start thinking about yourself. Well, maybe I'm that abused woman who once in a while the guy brings you some flowers, but he beats the shit out of you, and you keep excusing him. This abuse mentality, we have to stop. We have to have dignity in ourselves. Does that make sense? Yes. You guys understanding what I'm saying? Yes. Are you ready to build a freaking movement? Yes. I'm talking about a movement that has scared the hell out of the establishment, that they will never go again to push anything called the vaccine mandate. That is what we need to do. We need to put the fear of God into them. And it's not going to come from a fucking lawsuit. It's not going to come from a fucking bill. It's not going to come from running for election. It's going to come from you. It's going to come from you. Truth, freedom, and health. 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 Okay, come on up. All right. We have anyone else who wants to speak. Talk to Jerry. We have an electrician coming up here with Frank. Okay, we got Frank Licata here, who put up 10,000 signs for Trump. Okay, gave his life. And Frank's going to tell you from a worker standpoint what this movement's about. Frank Licata, give him a hand.
Thank you, Dr.SHIVA. And I got to tell you, since I met this fella in 2017, I've learned more from him than you could possibly get from any college education anywhere. Real knowledge. So take advantage of it. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com, sign up, join us, put your information in there. We'll reach out to you. As the doctor said, I really wasn't involved in politics much in my life. And, you know, I've always liked what I considered the outside agent of change, people kicking the establishment in the crotch. You know, in 2008, it seemed that was Obama, but he let us down. What did he do? He bailed out big banks. And then in 2015, wandering around New York, and a billionaire comes down an escalator and shocked the world. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. He's, you know, supposedly anti-establishment. I was wrong, come to find out. Actually, I just learned this last year. One of the things Shiva teaches us is to follow the money. Simple thing. You can go to the federal elections website, fec.gov. And one thing I learned there when I looked is that Big Pharma, specifically Pfizer, gave $1 million to the inaugural committee of both Trump and Biden. Gave $1 million, just like, here you go. Who gives you $1 million that doesn't want something back, right? What did they get back? Well, Trump gave them Operation Warp Speed. Rushed through the vaccine in months instead of years, and even his own FDA said, this is not safe. People are going to die. I appreciate the signs that say my body, my choice, by the way. Let's make it apply for vaccines as well as for children. But follow the money, folks. I mean, these people are in it. They're all opportunists. RFK, I mean, he was pro-freedom, anti-vax. And now, I mean, he's pro-mandate. You heard the song of him saying that he wants mandates for everybody. But now he's hopping on the Shiva bandwagon, So, anyway, I didn't really write a speech or anything like that. But I'll let you know that, whether you're on the left or on your right, on the left, I'm sure everybody who liked Bernie was let down when he endorsed Hillary and then he endorsed Sleepy Joe. Right? On the right, Trump is a little bit of a letdown to us. We've got vaccine mandates, thanks to Trump and Biden. I'm not trying to shoot. What are they trying to sell? All right, so I guess that's it. So our MC, Jerry, you want to jump in here?
Rue was put in power, by the way. I don't think she won the election, guys. Thank you very much. We are going to wrap it up here on our side. Truth, Freedom, and Health, guys. Go to truthfreedomandhealth.com and learn more about the movement. But it's got to be a bottoms-up movement, guys. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great day. We're going to get out of here before it starts raining. Take care, everybody.
So we have a whole nother set of speakers coming up. Shayna, are you up there? Shayna Cotton? Katona? Yes, sir. Let's bring one of the first responders up here. They're going to bring their own sound system. Rise is about dying. So Shayna, there you go. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva. My name's Shayna. I am with Boston First Responders. I want to thank Dr. Shiva and his group for being here. We're going to give us 10 minutes. We're going to switch the sound system over. We're going to get some other stuff up here. Give us 10 minutes. We're out here on the rain with you guys. You're on the rain with us. We are the people. This rain is nothing compared to what we're facing right now. Stick. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Stick around. They're going to be bringing their sound system up here soon. January 6th, 12 noon at Kendall Square. January 6th, tomorrow at 12 noon. It's going to be a good day. Kendall Square. Don't look at that. Tomorrow, January 6th, Kendall Square, 12 noon. Thank you.